Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Racing Podcast. We have a shortened podcast today, so let's get to it. Before we get started, I'll just go over the results from last weekend, and then we'll continue the rest of the program as scheduled. Last Saturday was last weekend's NASCAR Xfinity Series. The Road America 180 fired up by Johnsonville. Winner was Paul Menard in the 33 Chevy. He led 9 laps and gained 2 points. Second place was Ryan Blaney in the 22 Ford. He gained 1 point. And third place, Brian Scott, the number 2 Chevy. He led 3 laps and gained 1 point. Last Sunday was last weekend's NASCAR Camping World Truck Series event, the Chevrolet Silverado 250. Winner Eric Jones in the number 4 Toyota, who led 19 laps, gained 2 points. Second place, Matt Crafton in the 88 Toyota. He led 1 lap. And third place was Ben Kennedy in the number 11 Toyota. And we had 3 Toyotas right there. So, this is further ado. Let's get it started. It's RP, the Racing Podcast. Welcome, racing fans, to the one, the only RP, the Racing Podcast, presented by American Podcasting, available at apodradio.com, also available at Spreaker.com, #sports. I'm your host, Manny A., and this is program number 93. So, as mentioned, we have a shortened podcast today. No race notes this week. Okay, race notes will return next week. So today we'll go over the weekend schedule, and then we'll go over the driver standings, also go over the chase standings, and then we'll go over a little NASCAR news, so let you know about that. Now, last weekend there was no Sprint Cup racing. Sprint Cup returns on Sunday night, and it's the night race at Darlington. And you also have Xfinity racing this weekend. The trucks return on September 18th, which will be the first weekend will actually be at September 18th at Chicago. So we're going to get right to the schedule, and then we're going to move kind of quickly today. Now, this weekend, okay, you got NASCAR Xfinity Series and NASCAR Sprint Cup Series heading to Darlington Raceway. Darlington Raceway, also known as the Lady in Black, also known as the track Too Tough to Tame. Located at 1301 Harry Bird Highway, located in Darlington County, near Darlington, South Carolina. Capacity is 75,000. Track is oval. Surface is asphalt. Length 1.366 miles. 4 turns. Bankings at turns 1 and 2 is 25 degrees. Turns 3 and 4, 23 degrees. Front stretch is 3 degrees, and the back is 2. Lap record 26.706 seconds at 184.145 miles per hour. By Eric Almirola, Richard Petty Motorsports, April 11, 2014, NASCAR Sprint Cup Series. So, Darlington, okay, a retired racer known as Harold Brasington, 1948, who gotten to know Bill France Sr., founder of NASCAR. After retiring from racing, Barrington became a farmer, and he also owned a construction business as well. But after a race at Indianapolis, he noticed the huge crowds while in attendance at the 1948 Indianapolis 500, which was purchased by Tony Holman Jr. and a businessman from Terre Haute, Indiana. Okay. So Harold Brasington saw the event at Indiana, and he said he could probably get a track for himself and get a bunch of people to attend. So Harold Brasington purchases a 70-acre farm, which was a cotton and peanut field, from a Mr. Sherman Ramsey, and started building a racetrack. Darlington has a unique egg-shaped track, and the reason being is that Sherman Ramsey agreed to sell Brasington his farm under the condition that he did not disturb the minnow pond located on the property. And the pond is the reason for the track at Darlington and its shape. Turn 4, the backstretch is on a diagonal, turn 2 to turn 3. In fact, the length between turn 3 and 4 is shorter than the length between turn 1 and turn 2. So, So let's get to this weekend's schedule. Now, after this weekend, there is... Alright, we'll get to the schedule real quick. This Saturday afternoon is this weekend's NASCAR Xfinity Series event, Saturday, September 5th at 3:30 p.m. Eastern Time on NBC and NMRN, and it's big NBC this time. It's the VFW Sport Clips Help a Hero 200 with 147 laps scheduled. Sunday evening is this weekend's NASCAR Sprint Cup Series, the Sunday night race at Darlington, and Sunday, September 6th at 7 o'clock p.m. Eastern on NBC and MRN, and it's the Bojangles Southern 500 with 367 laps scheduled. NASCAR Camping World Truck Series returns on September 8th at Chicagoland Speedway for the American Ethanol E15 225, and we'll go over that again later on. So we've got some NASCAR news to go over. We'll talk about that later on as well. The Racing Podcast, which runs from February through November, so we got a little ways to go. So this, as far as Sprint Cup, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 12 weeks left, 10 in the Chase Cup. So we have this Sunday the 6th, night race at Darlington, and then you have another night race on the 12th at Richmond, and that will mark that's the last race of the regular season. And then September 20th starts the Chase, where they'll be heading to Chicagoland Speedway. All right, now, Xfinity will be at Darlington this weekend, as we just mentioned, and they'll also be at Richmond on September the 11th. Okay. And then September 19th, they head to Chicago. And then, so the trucks will be back on the 18th. So, Sprint Cup Racing, Darlington, Richmond, then it's Chicagoland, New Hampshire, Dover, one more time, Charlotte, Kansas, Talladega Speedway, Martinsville, Texas, Phoenix, and then finally the last race at Homestead. Xfinity Series, of course, okay, this weekend, Darlington, then Richmond, then Chicagoland, Kentucky, Dover, Charlotte, Kansas, Texas, Phoenix, Homestead. And the same for the trucks, except the trucks actually head to Las Vegas on October 3rd, where Xfinity and the Sprint Cup would be heading to Dover. So that weekend, the trucks will be heading to Las Vegas. But other than that, the trucks come back at Chicagoland on the 18th, New Hampshire, Vegas, Talladega, Martinsville, Texas, Phoenix, and Homestead. All right. So we got a little bit of NASCAR news today. This is going to be a very brief podcast. Before we even get started, I must tell you this. Last Saturday was a big horse race at the Saratoga Racecourse, upstate New York. And of course, it was the 146th running of the Travers, where American Pharoah made an appearance. It was a pretty interesting race. Keen Ice was the winner, though. The American Pharoah came in second, and then third place was Frosted, which was the number 6 horse. It was a 7, 2, and 6. And Upstart came in fourth place. But it was a crazy race because it was the 2 and the 6 going back and forth for the first place spot. American Pharoah Frosted, back and forth, and then as they come around that last turn to the final stretch, Keen Ice, the 7, just came out of nowhere, just blew past them, and took the win there. So there you go. Keen Ice came in for the win, American Pharoah for place, and the Frosted comes in for the show. Let's see. So it was 726. Keen Ice was paid out $340, $650, $380. American Pharoah paid out $240 and $210, and Frosted paid $320. And the race time was 2 minutes and 1.57 seconds. And Saratoga wrapping up its summer racing, I think on Monday, which means probably Wednesday. I guess they'll be back at Belmont for a little bit. I'm guessing, but been watching a lot of horse racing the past couple of days, and of course, if you're from New York, if you're not from New York, we got 3 big tracks run by Naira, Belmont, Aqueduct, Saratoga. And so Belmont's the big one, of course, Belmont Stakes. And then they go up for, Belmont starts like right before the summer, like in the springtime. And then towards the middle of the summer, they head up to Saratoga. Then they come back to Belmont for a little bit. And then for the winter time, they're out at Aqueduct out there in Queens. Across the street from, on the other side of the Belt Parkway from Kennedy Airport there. So, alright, so here's what we're going to do. We're going to go right into, I don't know if we're going to take a break today or not. We're probably just going to breeze through it. I got the Sprint Cup Chase standings, and we'll do that. And then, so we'll do that. So let's get into the driver standings real quick. And then we'll take a quick break, and then we'll do the final stretch segment, and then we're out of here. Again, next week we'll be back to our full-length podcast. There's no race notes because there was no Sprint Cup racing, and we only do race notes for when there's for Sprint Cup. And so there you go. I wasn't going to take today off, but we had the day off already 2 weeks ago, so I don't want to take another day off again. But there might be one more other off day for the racing podcast in September. I'll let you know about that. And we'll be going on all the way till the last day, which will be November, I think it's the 26th. I'll let you know about that. So the Racing Podcast starts the week before Daytona and then the week after Homestead. And we run from February through November. Some changes for the podcast? I don't know. Maybe. I don't know. I have to think about that one. I do a number of podcasts. A couple others got put on the back burner and consolidated to Racing Podcast, Baseball Update, and College Sport Check, the big three, because I started doing a music station, so to free up some time. Plus, I like the Racing Podcast a little better than, I started with the Daily, and then it was the Express, and then the Double D, and all that, and then the Racing Podcast. But I think the Racing Podcast is probably going to be the big one. Because I think it has a lot of potential, and I have a lot of fun doing it. So, alright, so let's get to it. We'll do the NASCAR Sprint Cup Series driver standings. Top 10 as follows. First place, Kevin Harvick, the 4-car with 908 points. Second place is Joey Logano, and he's in a double 2 with 865 points. Third place, Dale Jr., 88 car with 819 points. Brad Keselowski, the 4th place, the number 2 car, 793 points. Jimmy Johnson, 5th place, the 48 car, 792 points. 6th place is Martin Truex Jr., the 78 car, 771 points. 7th place is Matt Kenseth in the number 20, 753. Kurt Busch, 8th place, the 41 car, 713 points. Denny Hamlin, 9th place, the 11 car, 712 points. And Jamie McMurray, the number 1 car, 696 points. From 11th to 15th place in order: Ryan Newman, Paul Menard, Jeff Gordon, Carl Edwards, and Clint Boyer. From 16th to 20th place: Eric Almirola, Casey Kane, Greg Biffle, Austin Dillon, and Kyle Larson. 21st to 25th place: Danica Patrick, Casey Mears, AJ Allmendinger, David Reagan, and Sam Hornish Jr. Manufacturer standing for the Sprint Cup as follows. First place is Chevrolet with 1,066 points. Second place, Toyota, 996 points. And then third place is Ford with 995 points. NASCAR Xfinity Series driver standings. Top 10 as follows. First place, Chris Buescher, the number 60 car with 835 points. Second place is Chase Elliott, the number 9 car, 819 points. Third place, Ty Dillon, number 3. With 816, and Reagan Smith in 4th place, the number 7 car, 785 points. Elliott Sadler in 5th place, the number 1 car, with 750. Darrell Wallace Jr. sits in 6th place in the number 6 car, and 736 points. 7th place is Brian Scott, the number 2 car, 723. 8th place is Daniel Suarez in the 18 car, 717 points. 9th place, Brendan Gowen, 62 car, 705 points. And then 10th place is Ryan Reed in the 16 car with 631 points. So from 11th to 15th place in order, we have Jeremy Clements, J.J. Ely, Dakota Armstrong, Russ Chastain, and Ryan Siege. 16th to 20th place in order: David Starr, Blake Koch, Cale Conley, Landon Castle, and Eric McClure. And then 21st to 25th place: Joey Gase, Brennan Poole, Ryan Blaney, Harrison Rhodes, and Peyton Sellers. Manufacturer standing for Xfinity Series as follows. First place is Ford with 1,009 points. Second place is Chevy with 998. Third place, Toyota, 976. And fourth place is Dodge with 270. NASCAR Camping World Truck Series driver standings, top 10 as follows.